India won't allow humiliation. Hello and welcome back once again to my take. I'm Saddam Hussain. Well, you may be wondering who made this statement. India won't allow humiliation. Well, welcome back once again to my take. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has got one more good friend, one more trusted friend after the President of the United States of America, that is Donald Trump. Now, the President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, wants to be a good and trusted friend of the Prime Minister of Narendra Modi. He called him as a good trusted friend. Well, Putin was speaking at the plenary session of the Valdai Discussion Club in Sachi. Let's see what exactly he said. Well, he said Putin referred to Prime Minister Narendra Modi as his friend, calling him, I quote, as balanced, wise and nationally oriented. Big words, fantastic words. Balanced, wise and nationally oriented leader, and said he feels comfortable in the trustworthy interactions of the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi. Well, if we have this kind of friends in the world, the superpowers as friends of India, friends of our Prime Minister Modi, well, India is not scared of any other country in the world. The two superpowers, the United States of America and Russia, are good friends of India. Both the presidents calling themselves as trustworthy friends of India. Not only that, the Russian President Vladimir Putin criticized the American President Donald Trump. Well, he called the USA's tariffs, 50% of tariffs on Indian goods exported to the United States, and especially 25% as punitive tariff because India is importing oil from Russia. Putin strongly condemned it, strongly condemned what the United States is imposing the tariffs on India, which is not justified. He called himself a good friend of India. He called Modi a trusted friend. He said India, New Delhi and Moscow have very close relationship. He said India will never bow down to the humiliation of any country. He was particularly referring to the United States when the USA is imposing tariffs on India because India is buying crude oil from Russia. Putin said India will never bow down. India will never get humiliated from the United States. It looks as if Putin is there. Putin is giving a kind of support to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Well, I'm there for you. Don't worry, buy oil from Russia. India has very good relationship, close relationship for ages with Russia. Putin has further said, well, if India refuses to buy crude oil from Russia, it will cost India something like $9 to $10 billion. It will be a huge loss for India. That is what Putin is saying. Not only that, he is saying importing crude oil from Russia is economic, something to do with economic aspect, not political. It's not political. If India is importing oil from Russia, it is quite profitable for India. It's quite economical for India. Instead of importing from other countries, India is importing oil from Russia because it has many benefits for India. Well, he said there may be different opinions in the world, but he says $9 to $10 billion loss will happen if India does not import oil from Russia. At the same time, he said, okay, if India stops importing crude oil because of punitive tariffs, because of sanctions imposed by United States of America, because of sanctions imposed by Donald Trump. Well, it will cost the same thing to India because of tariffs. Because of tariffs. If they import it, it will cost 9 to 10 billion dollars because of tariffs, because of punitive punishment, punitive sanctions from the United States. Anyway, it is going to be a costly affair for India. That's why Putin is giving hint to the Prime Minister of India not to get humiliated, not to bow down to any country, especially he's referring to the United States, because anyway India will have a huge loss of 9 to 10 billion dollars. Putin further said that people of India are smart. People of India are intelligent. They think over these political aspects. They think over this political move by the President of the United States, Donald Trump. They think it over. It will not bow down. Indians will never bow down to any kind of humiliation from any nation in the world. Well, he also praised Narendra Modi will never take any hasty decisions by stopping buying crude oil from Russia. Well, he further said that India is a sovereign country, so it will never face this kind of humiliation from any nation in the world. Well, what the country will buy, where the country will buy, from whom the country will buy, will be the independent decision of a country. No other country in the world should dictate any country. It all depends upon the economic aspects of imports or exports. If a country is benefited, the country can import from anywhere in the world. Let's recollect a couple of weeks back what the United States of America's President Donald Trump said in the UN General Assembly. Well, the same thing, these comments of Putin, the President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, his comments came a couple of weeks or 2 weeks after the declaration of the President of the USA speech at the UN General Assembly. Well, there he said, openly in front of the whole world, in front of all the leaders in the UN General Assembly, India and China are responsible for the Ukraine war. India and China are funding. How they are funding it? Because India and China are importing huge quantities of crude oil from Russia. So that is why they are funding Russia to fight with Zelensky in Ukraine. These comments, the strong comments of Putin have come 2 weeks after this. So that's what he said. These tariffs of 50% because of India's imports crude oil from Russia. Donald Trump strongly believes it's all because of this. It's all because of this. One of his trade secretaries said the war between Russia and Ukraine is Modi's war. Putin also said because of high tariffs. Just imagine 50% tariffs, punitive tariffs, sanctions, because of these unimaginable, unreasonable, unjustified tariffs, it will lead to inflation all over the world. The prices of commodities will go up. Not only that, the interest rate in the United States go up. The Federal Reserve will increase the interest rates because of high tariffs.